They told us education was the way out. Study hard, get good grades, go to university, get the degree, and success would follow. For many black families, education wasn't just encouraged, it was sacred, because for generations, education was denied. So when the doors finally opened, we ran through them. But now a new question is being asked. If education is the key, why are so many educated black professionals still struggling to build wealth? Welcome to Black Intelligence. In many black households, education isn't optional, it's survival. Parents sacrifice everything, working overtime, skipping vacations, taking loans, selling assets. Also, one child can go to university, because that degree doesn't just represent knowledge, it represents hope. Hope that this generation will finally break the cycle. Hope that poverty ends here. Hope that the family finally moves up. And when you graduate, it's not just your achievement, it's a family achievement. You walk across that stage, and behind you are grandparents who never had the opportunity, parents who worked jobs they didn't love, siblings looking at you like you're the blueprint. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The degree was supposed to be the finish line, but for many, it's just the beginning of another struggle.
If your education is that valuable, why can't you do something with it? You just a slave with education, an educated captive. Oh, not me, not me. Yes, brother, you. If your education had value, come on then, with that education we should free our people. We should act like a free people. But you go right back to the master, begging him for a job. You've never been taught how to make one for yourself. As Malcolm said, you've been had. You've been tricked. You've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked. You're a lawful captive in the hands of the terrible and the mighty.
Let's talk about student debt, because for many black graduates, wealth doesn't start with assets. It starts with debt. You graduate, and instead of building wealth, you're already trying to climb out of a financial hole. Student loans, credit card debt, transport costs, supporting family, and suddenly, your first salary isn't freedom, it's pressure. Meanwhile, in many wealthier families, graduation doesn't come with debt. It comes with advantages, connections, family businesses, property, investment guidance. So two graduates walk into the workforce. One is trying to build wealth. The other is trying to survive. Same education, completely different starting line. And that's the part nobody talked about when they told us, just go to school and everything will work out. Being the first graduate in your family is powerful, but it also comes with pressure. Because now, you're not just building your life, you're lifting everyone. Suddenly you're helping with school fees, groceries, medical bills, transport money. You become the emergency fund before you even build one for yourself. And here's the tough part. This isn't selfish families. This is survival. Because when one person makes it, everyone leans on them. That's what people call black tax. And it's one of the biggest reasons education doesn't always translate into wealth. Because instead of investing, you're supporting. Instead of saving, you're helping. Instead of building assets, you're paying bills. And before you know it, years go by, and you're still stuck financially, even though you did everything right. Another uncomfortable conversation, the skilled trades versus degrees debate. For years, many black communities were told, trades are for people who didn't make it academically, so we pushed everyone toward university. But today, electricians making serious money, plumbers building businesses, artisans becoming entrepreneurs, technicians owning companies. Meanwhile, some degree holders are stuck in entry-level jobs with limited salary growth. The issue isn't education itself, it's that we were taught, because the truth is, a degree can get you a job, but ownership builds wealth. And for many black families, the goal of education was simple: get a stable job, because stability meant survival. But wealth often comes from businesses, investments, property, ownership, and many graduates weren't taught that part. We were taught, study hard, get hired, not study hard, then build something. So we became highly educated employees instead of highly educated owners. And there's nothing wrong with employment, but when entire communities rely mostly on salaries, wealth becomes harder to build because salaries stop when you stop working. Ownership keeps paying. Education is still powerful. Education still matters. But education alone isn't enough, because knowledge without ownership, income without assets, degrees without financial strategy don't always lead to wealth. Maybe the next step is not abandoning education, but expanding what education means. Teaching, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, investing, ownership. So the next generation doesn't just graduate, they accumulate. Because the goal isn't just to be educated. The goal is to be empowered. Degrees can open doors, but ownership builds houses. And real wealth is when education doesn't just change your life, it changes generations. This is Black Intelligence. We hope you educate yourself enough to want to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.